Good morning everybody. So we are back with another video, and today we are going to discuss the goddess Hemera. She was the primordial goddess of the day. She was the daughter of Erebos, the god of darkness, and Nyx, the goddess of night. And she was the sister and wife of Ether, god of the heavenly light. Every evening, Hemera's mother Nyx drew her dark veil across the sky, obscuring the shining blue of the heavenly ether and bringing night to the earth. With each morning, Hemera would disperse her mother's mists, bathing the earth again in the light of the ether. In the ancient cosmologies, night and day were actual substances distinct and independent of the sun. The sun ruled the day, but was not its source. Hemera has been closely identified with Hera, the queen of heaven, and Eos, the goddess of the dawn. Hesiod seems to regard her more as a divine substance rather than an actual physical human-like goddess. She was largely irrelevant in mythology, with her role being entirely subsumed by the goddess Eos in the later eras. However, there are still some mythologies that do have her mentioned in here. So we do have the Theogony, which we have discussed on a few of the others, in which it says, "Verily at first chaos came to be, but next wide-bosomed Gaia and dim Tartaros. In the depths of the wide-pathed earth, and Eros, fairest among the deathless gods, who unnerves the limbs and overcomes the mind, and wise counsel of all gods and all men within them. From chaos came forth Erebos and black Nyx, but of Nyx were born Ether and Hemera, whom she conceived and bore with union in love with Erebos." So that's obviously part of the creation mythology that we have discussed quite a few times. So then in this part of the Theogony, it is mentioned that there stands the awful home of murky Nyx, wrapped in dark clouds in front of it. Atlas stands immovable, upholding the wide heaven upon his head and unwearying hands, when Nyx and Hemera draw near and greet one another as they pass the great threshold of bronze. And while the one is about to go down into the house, the other comes out at the door. And the house never holds them both within, but always one is without the house, passing over the earth, while the other stays at home and waits until the time for her journeying to come, and the one holds all-seeing light for them on earth. So basically describing the difference between night and day, and that of course, as night comes, so day ends, and as day comes, so night ends. In this one, Hemera is also mentioned. This is in the Alakman, fragment 5. So at the same moment there came into being Poros, perhaps Kronos, and Tekmor, perhaps Anarchy, and Skoltos, possibly Eros, and then Hemera and Milana, or Selenia, she was later known. So Days does not mean simply day, but contains the idea of the sun. Previously there was only darkness, and afterwards, when it had been differentiated, light came into being. So that's basically just describing how at the very beginning when chaos first birthed the first of the primordials, there was still just darkness. It wasn't until Hemera came to be that then we got light and day. Oh, and ether as well. Now in this one, it states that the radiant daughter Hemera was born on the 16th day of the 15th month. So I'm guessing in the Tales of the Creations, that's where we know she was born. Now these ones. Now there are quite a few myths where she's identified with Eos, who became synonymous with the goddess Eos, who came later on down the ages. So you've got here, on the tilting of this portico are images of Hemera crying away, who was in love. And then, so you got quite a few myths as well that describe her as being very, describing her as very beautiful, which is interesting considering she wasn't known to have a physical body as such, as opposed to being a personification of the day itself. But then I suppose, if you think about it, the day does have its own beauty to it, so I guess that does make sense. Then there is this one, which is a description. It says, at Olympia there is a semicircular stone pedestal, and on it are Zeus, Thetis, and Hemera entreating Zeus on behalf of their children. These are on the middle of the pedestal. There are Achilles and Memnon, one at either edge of the pedestal, representing a pair of combatants in position. So yes, that's just a few of the mythologies. She was obviously closely linked with her mother Nyx and their heavenly movements, which were used to explain the cycle of day and night to the ancients. They moved in counterpoint to one another, Nyx retreating from the sky as Hemera would appear. Hesiod went on to describe them drawing near and passing one another. And as in the myth that I had said previously, where one was entering the house when the other would depart to pass over the earth, but they would never be at the house at the same time. As with many other primordials, I haven't been able to find any information in relation to any cults that she would have had. But so, there is a lot that has been lost over the ages, especially with the primordials. So we'll be back soon with another video. I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll chat soon. Bye!